This film will explore how Lincoln's non-traditional students have dealt with or deal with struggles of balancing a family life and student life. According to the National Center for Education, fewer than half of all college students are younger than 21 years of age. According to a study done by Pierce College, 3.9 million post-secondary students in the US are parents. For the purpose of this film, a non-traditional student will be defined as an individual who is attending or has attended college while balancing a family life. Tell me about yourself.
I am majoring in currently a master's in science of sociology at New Mexico State University. I have two kids. One is 5 going on 6, and one just had a birthday. I am a current case manager for Children's Division.
I'm 38 years old. I'm currently in the master's program at Lincoln. My master is sociology and criminal justice. This is my final semester. I graduate December 5th. Granted, I passed all the classes, I guess.
Right.
I got two kids. One's 15, just started driving, and one is 13. Both very involved in sports, so they keep me extremely
Okay,
active.
well, first and foremost, I'm a father of four. I have an 18-year-old who is a freshman here at Lincoln University. I have a 16-year-old at Hickman High School here in Columbia, and two 13-year-olds that's in their final grade of middle school. I am, being a doctor, I finished with a degree in English and African American
I'm a human
literature.
services major with a triple minor in criminology, sociology, and psychology. I have three kids. My oldest is 12 and in seventh grade. My youngest are twin boys who are in fifth grade and they're 10.
Doctor of Ministry. Okay, so I'm 36 years old. I have two daughters. One's 9, one's 4. Married.
What made you decide to go back to school?
The school wasn't going to actually let me back in because I owed like $3,000. So this lady, I can't remember her name, she was so nice. She seen me with my daughter and she said, I'll make you a deal. You'll have to take out a loan to pay back the $3,000, but you cannot drop a course this entire year. I was like, okay, no pressure. First time coming back with a kid because I just got my life together. And I kept my bargain. I kept my end of the deal. I didn't drop any classes. I did pretty well that semester, but I didn't have childcare. So some professors don't allow you to have students or kids in the class. So that was really hard. So the testing moments of my life, it was a group of freshmen at the Dawson dorm at the time. I was desperate, literally, and I mean, not everybody's religious. I'm spiritual, but I don't really lean on the religion part too much. But I definitely was just praying to God that just to keep my baby safe, because I was about to do what no parent should have done, but I didn't have a choice. So I walked up to a group of freshmen. I was like, "Are you guys doing anything right now?" And of course, they're all just clueless, like, "No," and like, "Who are you?" I'm like, "I just need you to watch my daughter for like 50 minutes because that's how long my class was." And what was so crazy is they kind of stood there and they looked at me and they're just like, "She's crazy. Is she for real?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm so serious." And I was so desperate, and they took her, and I just had to trust that.
And I was really following in the tradition of my family, who were just hardworking people, but we worked really low wage earning jobs. My last job, however, was I worked at the post office, and it was a job that paid well, but yet at the same time, I just noticed that I wasn't fulfilled mentally or spiritually in terms of that career.
It's really hard to make money these days without a degree. So once my kids went back to school and started school and I didn't have to stay home with them all day long, I decided I'd go to school because I've always wanted to. And
Between my bachelor's and my master's, I probably had 2 years that I didn't do anything, and I was kind of looking at doing an MBA or something like that at Columbia College or maybe Mizzou, and then the Lord called me into ministry, so I started seminary right after that, and So I did my master's degree. That was about 5 years, and then my doctorate's been
What
about 5
challenges do you face as a non-traditional student?
Reasons why a lot of women start to question if they should work after a while, because not only do I have the stress of just working and not being with my kids, it's also like childcare, and childcare is like expensive. We're talking maybe $1,200 a month, and I mean that's a lot. And that doesn't even like include lunch money. It doesn't include like my kids. Like, matter of fact, my daughter had a growth spurt, and my son actually, and so literally they grew like 3 different sizes within 2 months. And that was fun.
Yeah.
So I mean, you literally, and what makes it worse is since my daughter is in school, I have to actually be there for her too. So luckily, with my schedule being flexible during the day, I can leave work to go and meet with her, or if it's parent-teachers conference, I can at least put it in my schedule. But balancing, it's not realistic. I mean, there are times, I literally spoke to my advisor not too long ago, and she was like, I don't know how you do it. I was like, I don't know how I've been doing it. I mean, at some point, you're going to crash. I think I've had a couple of days where I was just like, I'm not here right now. As much as I want to be, like, mentally, I'm not here. And my husband usually knows that's about the time to break out the wine.
Was for me, well, I would say the kids, in many ways, I didn't really see it as a challenge. I looked at it as because in a sense they would stay up all night, they would cry and that sort of thing. And so what happened was, I would read and do homework and do that. So I used the insomnia that most parents have when they're first-time parents to my advantage. So I would try to schedule my classes in the evening, and I would stay up at night to study, and then I would, of course, function during the day, and then go to my classes. And my wife and I would have alternating.
It's a lot of
schedules.
juggling, a lot of schedules. With 3 kids in those grades, we do sports, we do orchestra, they have homework, there's extracurricular activities, dances. It's just a lot of trying to get everything I need to get done and make sure their homework's done and that they're still getting to be kids and do all
it's
the
always
things they want
time.
to do.
It's time and money. So it's just carving out the additional time requirements throughout the week on top of your regular
When do you
job.
reserve time for schoolwork?
Balance school after I get off work. So it leaves like probably a 2-hour window to just spend time with my kids, cook dinner, and then get my kids ready for bed.
Okay.
So a lot of the things that most people would take care of at night, I actually take care of them. I'm literally up to about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning to get back up at 5.
Okay, you get back up 5, and then you said that's when you guys have your
Get home at
family
night.
time then?
When I get off work, it's pretty much sitting at the table with a laptop until I go to bed, answering all the discussion topics and writing the papers that it takes to get the master's degree done. From the time I get home to the time I go to bed every week, now I'm doing schoolwork, so I'm probably putting in 6 hours a night.
Okay.
Since my kids all go to school during the day and I get to stay home, I do most of my work during the day unless I'm taking my grandma or my aunt to the doctor or to run errands or whatever, in which case then I have to do it at night when everybody goes to bed or weekends, just whenever I
Well,
can
I'm
squeeze it
grateful
in.
that my church allows me to carve out time throughout the week. So it'll vary. Sometimes I'll spend a couple afternoons, 5 hours here, 5 hours there throughout the week that I'm just able to block off and say, this is the time that I'm going to devote to this. Or sometimes if it's something that's really taxing, you might have to go all the way into the evening. But it varies. It's all over the place. It's my brain is sometimes on and oftentimes off, so I have to try to schedule it and just kind of work spontaneously when I feel like I'm going to be efficient.
Do you have a support system?
My husband, he works overnight, so that's probably where I'm missing the part here. He's not home at night, but he's here during the day, but no one's at home during the day. So,
Okay.
I mean, he gets the easy part is what I call it.
Okay.
So usually we do have an interval where we kind of meet each other before leaving out the door. So when I'm spending time with the kids in the morning, he's coming in from work, and he usually has like this burst of energy before he crashes from all the coffee he's drinking all night long to stay awake. So usually that's the time like I'll vent, and if I want to just have a conversation, I want to cry, whatever I need to do, that's my time to let it out. We're not biological sisters, but we're close friends, or I call her my sister, and she's literally on this headpiece all day long,
Talking
and
to you.
it's just knowing that I can still have somewhat of a social life, because that was the first thing I was nervous about. Like, if this is my life, then who do I spend it with outside of like my family and work? Like, where can I just literally have some kind of coping skill or mechanism to really like decompress my stress?
I'm lucky. I've got a wife. She's very understanding about me being back in school. So she has pretty much been a single mother for the last year and a half.
Yeah.
While I've been going back through my master's courses. She supports most of it. She's taken over pretty much all the household duties and everything that I was doing. She
Yeah.
does
I
a lot
had to
of it now,
rely
of course.
on my professors. I had to rely on my church.
I have a
community.
huge support system. All my family supports me. They cheer me on all the time, tell me I can do it. When I'm stressed out, they're like, don't worry, you've got this. And that emotional support is huge. And then when I need a place to work, whenever my kids are home and my house is loud and I have stuff due, they give me their houses, they give me quiet rooms, let me use their laptops. And I've done that at several different people's houses.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, everybody in my church has obviously helped me, but I would say my wife is the biggest, you know, the biggest uh, advocate for me, in that, you know, she's known that while I've been continuing through this, it was clear to her that obviously I wasn't going to be able to devote as much time helping her to the things that she generally takes care of, like, you know, stuff around the house or cooking and that kind of stuff. So she's incredibly gracious, knowing that it's temporary, and that whenever I'm done, which I graduate in a week, then I have to start, you know, helping out.
How do you cope with stress?
My main stress coping mechanism is working out.
Okay.
I do CrossFit.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So I work out quite a bit. I run, I work out. That's my main stress relief. And that's my normal stress relief from work.
Mm-hmm.
And for school, amazingly enough, work was my stress relief. It was just going to work and having my normal day
Okay.
away from school. That was probably a lot of stress relief from school, because it wasn't just straight schoolwork.
Schoolwork.
I'm fortunate to love the job that I do.
Sure.
So the job doesn't stress me out as much as what school has stressed me out. So the job is kind of a stress relief.
I made sure
Okay,
that I would see counseling, because mental health is very important when you're going through this entire process.
Coffee. Lots of coffee.
You have to be sure of who you are. So a lot of it for me has been like, since I'm a Christian, I know that who I am is in Jesus Christ. Therefore, I don't have to appease anyone. I don't have to attain some specific grade just to get their approval, because I already have God's approval. And therefore, you know, if sometimes I haven't done as well as I probably could have or should have, but I know that I did the best that I could given the time and the resources that I had, then I'm okay with that. And I don't allow anybody else to place onto me some type of a unfair expectation, an unreasonable, unbiblical expectation. So, I mean, it's not to say that I don't have stress, but I do. You know, my wife obviously helps me out around the house. And
How many credit hours per semester are you doing?
Now I'm taking 6 credit hours,
Okay.
so that's still full time.
I'm taking 3 classes right now, so I've got 9 credit hours I'm taking, which was
Yeah.
quite a bit to take on in the master's program, but I wanted to be done.
Sure.
I didn't want to drag it on.
I take 6 at a time. They're 8-week classes. So I'll take 12 a semester. I do year-round school, so I take classes in the summer as well.
How do you cope with the social pressure to be the provider and juggle schoolwork?
I feel that I've balanced that
Okay.
very well throughout my master's degree program, but then again, that has a lot to do with my personality
Okay.
and the job that I do, dealing with. I mean, my whole job's been dealing with managing time and critical incidents and different things. So I'm pretty good about managing.
I just
that.
found ways to incorporate my kids into my life. So when I had to read or write papers, I would have them writing along with me, or I remember several times I would have them reading like any African American lit book. I would have my daughter and I would just read the book out loud.